My name is Johannes Weber. I'm a worship pastor in Abbotsford, BC. And what I want to do today is take a few minutes to introduce you to a worship planning system that I've developed over the last while. On the video you see playing there behind me, you see some footage from the Christmas Eve service that we celebrated last year. And in a service like that, as in many regular Sunday morning services, we have quite a variety of musical instruments, of singers, and then the band instruments, of course. And often we'll have brass, a trumpet player, a trombone player, we'll have a violin player, we'll have a flute player, and so on. So all those musicians need different music, and sometimes we have choirs and so on. And it's a lot of administrative work that needs to be done, and then the lyrics for congregational singing and all these things. And of course there is solutions, commercial solutions out there that help with some of this, like planningcenteronline.com, which you might be familiar with. So what I'm trying to do with the platform called ChurchWeb is similar, but it goes, I believe, a few steps further than, for example, Planning Center Online does. So thank you for watching, and I'll take you on a little tour right now. This is the landing page of the ChurchWeb system. In fact, this is the live version running at our church, the login page here. So I log in, and it takes us to a landing page with a menu bar at the top and a number of different options here, which don't concern us right now. The only thing right now we want to note is that this whole system is a multi-user, multi-group system that effectively allows everybody in your church who needs access to it to get proper access to the things they need to be able to do and to interact together. What we want to focus on for now is the service planning module, which is found under Ministries Worship Department Service Planning. This is the interface of the service planning landing page. In the top section here, you see in the red box the current week. They list the services for this week, and then chronologically down below you find next week and so on. So there's a navigation bar at the top. You can go back to October, for example, and see past services, or we go back to the current week. What you see here is the title of the service on the left. So we had Deutsche Bibelstunde this Wednesday. The date is on the right there. That one is completed. Then there is the Deutscher Gottesdienst on Sunday morning coming up in 36 hours, and then the English service after that. You see in the center section here there are some key leaders listed right here on the overview, so you know what's going on, who is doing what, and so on. On the right, you see some of the tasks that are connected to managing the services. The most important one of which would be scheduling services. That has been done, of course. You see them listed there. But you can see at our church we have a number of different services. We have the Deutsche Bibelstunde, as I mentioned, the German Bible study, then the German service every Sunday, the English service every Sunday. We have sometimes youth worship night. We have sometimes combined services. We have special events like Christmas Eve services and so on. Sometimes there is evening baptism services and all kinds of different events, wedding celebration and so on, for which you can create a template to simplify and speeding up the process of planning an actual service. So just briefly, for example, if you hit English service here, one of the things that the template does is save how the service recurs if it does, which is the case for the English service. It occurs every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. So it suggests here the next 10 dates on which the English service hasn't been scheduled yet. So if I would hit execute scheduling request here, all those 10 options here will be scheduled. And in fact, also they go into the room booking system that's attached to here as well, but we won't look at that now. Then the other, some other things, links here relate to managing the templates and so on. Let me take you through the process of actually planning a service in ChurchWeb. For the sake of demonstration here, we will schedule a service, an English service, a regular English service in the distant future. We'll schedule the March 2 one. Hit execute scheduling request. And what this does now is book the rooms that are needed for the service and also create a general outline of the service plan. So the service we just created is in March 2014, March 2, there it is. If we just click on it, we will enter into the actual planning interface. If you have been using Planning Center Online before, then this interface will look familiar to you. In the center section, you see the actual service plan. On the left, you see rehearsal information and so on. And then there's a people section underneath that. And there are some links for files that are related to the service plan. The right-hand side offers a conversation feature. I just put a note here earlier. You can write a note there and others can read it and respond to it if they so choose and interact around planning the service. Planning a service involves a number of things here that can be done in any order you want really, but just for the sake of demonstration now we will start with adding the people to the service that are going to be involved in it. So the way this goes is you click on schedule a person and you first decide what they're doing. So most important thing of course for the service is the preacher. So then it brings up a list of people who can fill that position. We choose our senior pastor here. Then another thing we need is a service host. And again, you get the list of people who can do that. I choose one of my colleagues here for fun. And then we get to the musical side of things. So in the band, typically we'll have a worship leader. I schedule myself here. And then we add a drummer. A bass player, a keyboard player, a guitar player, and so on. You get all those different instruments you have and some singers. And we'll add a trumpet player. We have B trumpet players, so B flat trumpet. And a trombone player. And a violin player. Of course, you could add any number of others that you want to. Like we have, typically we'll have a sound technician and a projector operator. And so on. So you put the people that are involved on the left side. Now we will schedule a rehearsal. And at our church, we have some favorite rehearsal times. So one of those is the Thursday night before the service at 7 p.m. So if I just click that here, then it'll automatically choose the right date and time in the right place too. It's typically the main auditorium. We can lengthen the practice somewhat. It's probably closer to 2 hours most of the time. Invite the worship team and schedule the rehearsal. This again does a room booking to make sure that we have the auditorium available at the time we need it. We usually schedule another practice for Sunday morning. Again, we can use the favorite option here for 8 a.m. and schedule that practice as well. Now let's look at the actual service plan in the center. So you see what the template has created here, welcome, announcements, prayer, and so on. And then there's the main worship set, followed by pastoral prayer, offering, another song, and then the sermon, and a closing song. Next, we'll add songs to our service plan. So to do that, we need to fill those placeholders here. And to edit any service element, you just click on it and you get this interface that allows you to change the details. So the label up top, then a slider, which gives you a chance to decide how long it's supposed to take. You can decide who is in charge of it, and you can add a note, for example, here as well. And the note will just appear under the service element. Now, for the songs, it looks a little different. You get, again, you get the top part of the interface you just saw. And then in this gray shaded area down here, you get the details of the song. So first you choose a song by starting to type a title. We choose All Creatures of Our God and King as an opener here. And you see then in part 2 here, there's a list of arrangements. So we have 2 arrangements of this song. One is from Worship Together, which is our hymnal, and the other one is one that I have written. Now by default, the first one here is selected, and that's fine. You see then number 3 here, select people. Now in this field, you can decide whether or not everybody in your team is supposed to be on that song, if everybody's supposed to get the music for it or not. So by default, everybody does, but if you have like a solo type of a piece or a smaller group piece, you can uncheck those check marks and make sure that the people who are not supposed to be playing on it will not get the prints either. Then on the right hand side, you see the lyrics sequence. This is important because this particular sequence that you set here determines what your lyrics presentation will look like. And the way you can edit it is, if you want to say you want to skip verse 2, you can shift and click it, and it'll disappear. I'm going to bring it back in. You can grab it here and drop it wherever you want to drop it. You can also shift them around by just dragging and dropping them. Now, with the hymn book version, our 5 verses are associated by default, but if we say we chose this arrangement here, which in fact we do because the hymn book version doesn't really have parts for our trumpet player, our trombone player, and the other instruments, this one does. So we choose this one, and you see the sequence associated with it is just verses 1, 4, and 5. That's just the way the arrangement is written, but you can change that. Again, you could add verse 2 if you wanted to, and so on. So once you've done that, you're good on this, and then we will just continue to fill the blanks here. I'll just work from a sample service here. Second song is Not Be Shaken. Again, we have a bunch of arrangements, and again, I choose my own because that's the one that has all the parts for the different instruments. You see, in this case, we have a blank slide in the middle here, so that's probably a musical interlude, and that's what the blank slide is for. You can insert more of those if you need to, just as any lyrics fragment. Take it out again. Now, if I chose to add a scripture reading here after those two songs, I could do that by grabbing a scripture reading up here and drop it in here. And that actually has a specifically tailored interface as well. You can choose a scripture, say we read from Genesis 1 here, and it'll identify that scripture reference and write it out here properly, which makes it searchable then too. So you can in hindsight find out what scriptures you have used when and how frequently and so on. It's linked to Bible Gateway, by the way, so if you just want to take a quick look at what's actually written there, you just click on it and there you go. There it is. Okay, so after the scripture reading, we have another song, and that is Reign in Us. Oh, okay, no, I chose God You Reign. That's, oh, okay, let's make a mistake. That's not a problem. And let's change the right one. Okay, and again, you see there's a bunch of different arrangements. Two from me, probably they're identical, but they are in different keys. So this last time I was playing with the guitar, so we didn't want the F major, so I transposed it to G. Now you see we ran out of placeholders here for the songs. We can simply add one by grabbing it at the top here and dropping it in the place we want it. And so we have a fourth song, Let All Things Now Living. So here we're just going to use the hymnal because that's the only version we have. All right, once you've chosen all your songs, and everything is ready, you can go to the left again, and first of all, you can just get a copy of a nice PDF copy of the service order if you click on that link down there. Full plan PDF. This is what it looks like. In fact, I have just a printout here from the sample service I mentioned earlier, and it's just a nice one-page print that we print on Sunday morning, the latest version, just a minute before the service or so, and it looks like that. Now, the more interesting thing then is to look at the people section again, and you see the little music note that shows up beside all those that have musical positions. Start with the worship leader up top here, and if you click on that music note, what the system does, it generates a music package for that person. Now that music package looks like this. It's a PDF file that has on the first page the service order, and then on the following pages you have all the music in the order that you have given and that this person needs. So for the worship leader, I prefer to see full score. So I get full score for All Creatures of Our God and King, full score for Not Be Shaken, and so on for the whole service, as you can see here. That looks different for the singers, for example. So if we look at Brianna's package here, you will see that she also has the service order at the beginning, but then the music attached to it, but the music that's vocal scores. So there's less pages, and they have just the parts that she needs to see. The same is true then also for the other instruments. So we have, for example, here we look at the trumpet player. Of course, he plays a B-flat trumpet, so he needs music in B-flat, and that's from what the system does here. It pulls the music together in the B-flat scores of it, and it gets attached to his package. So he has, again, the service order in front, and then the trumpet music, the brass music attached to that, as you can see. Now what we do then with those PDF files, all you need to do is print, duplex print it, and put it in a binder, and you're ready to go. So then same is true, of course, for the violinists. Again, they need their scores and so on. So this process is a huge time-saving factor in terms of that you never again have to deal with paperwork, file music after the service, and try to deal with filing cabinets and so on. And in my particular case, I don't really have office assistants in my position, so which is different in some other churches, but it frustrated me because all the administrative work I had to do, and it would add to my time, which was very limited anyway. So I decided to create this to simplify, first of all, my everyday work, but hopefully this will be useful beyond just my own application. Now I want to show you one more thing regards the music packaging and so on. You can edit the packages for each person. If you go again to that music note and you hit alternate and or hold Alt down and click, and then click the music note, you get this interface which shows you for this person what kinds of sheets will be printed for her. So in this case, this is the overview right here. By default, she'll get the vocals, the 4-part vocals sheet, whichever sheet has the 4-part vocals. And the way it works, you can specify elsewhere what kind of preference for music sheets a particular position has. In the case of the singer, what the system will do, the way it's set up now, is it'll make sure that their part is in there on whichever sheet there is the fewest other parts. So most of the time that would be the lead sheet for the singers. Now you can change that very specifically for this person. Say this person prefers to have full score for the first song. Then you simply change it here. Now you see there's full score for the first song, and say she, for whatever reason, she wants the violin part for the last song. So if we did that, we could hit apply to all singers and apply that particular selection to all the singers. Could even apply to everyone if we so chose, but we won't do that for now. We'll just hit done, and we can see if this changed, if it worked, by just re-downloading the package. And there you go. So now she has a full score for all creatures, and then but the regular lead sheet and vocal sheet for the other songs. And let's see at the end, yeah, there's a violin part for Hear the Call. That, of course, is not useful in reality, but what often happens or has happened over, we've seen that in the church, is that some guitarists they prefer chord sheet over lead sheet, and so on. And so this option, I don't use it on a regular basis, but it's useful from time to time if you want to be more specific about what each package contains. Now, once you're all done with your music, and when Sunday morning comes, you want to download the lyrics file, and right now, this is the way we do it. We download it as a PowerPoint presentation. It's a shame that we're still using PowerPoint, but that's just what we do. And so ChurchWeb provides us with this link here that is a download link to a PowerPoint file that's being generated the moment you click the link, based on the data that you have provided earlier and the lyric sequences that we have chosen for your song. So here it is, and we can take a look at it. And it comes with a standard welcome slide, which just has our church logo and the service time. It would have the title. If I would have chosen a title, maybe we should do that here. So if you give your sermon a title, and then the sermon title will be assumed for the service, but you can also give the service a different title if you want to. Say this is Genesis part 1 or whatever. And so now when we download the PowerPoint file again, we should see that that title is now included. There you go. So title page, and then a title slide, and then after that follows a blank slide, and then the lyrics for the first song. Just the way you've selected them. There's a copyright notice at the end, then a blank slide, the next song, and on it goes. So that is something you can change to the last moment, and instantly the PowerPoint file gets created dynamically, and you can download it again if you make changes, and present it. This concludes our brief survey of the core features of the service planning module of the ChurchWeb system. We've only touched on a small fraction of the features that have been implemented. A whole lot is going on in the background to make all that happen that you just saw. We didn't talk about the music database, which is closely integrated with the service planning system. We didn't talk about service templating, about the booking system. We didn't talk very much, and many other things. We won't do that now. But I want to do one more thing before I wrap this up, and that is I want to show you an exciting new feature that has not yet been deployed in church, and we're going to look at it in my home development environment. And this is about a projection, and I think it's not an exaggeration if I say it has the potential to revolutionize the way that lyrics are presented in church. Stay tuned. All right, before I show you the new presentation system, I'm going to have to explain to you briefly the concept and how it is different from what you are probably used to. Many churches today still use PowerPoint, which I think has done a good service for many years. It's probably the most widespread presentation software, but it's not particularly well suited to lyrics presentation. And it has there's a number of other issues with it that make it not ideal for the task that it's being used for. So there are some products on the market that address some of those issues. For example, Media Shout is much more suitable for live presentation of lyrics. There's another software I just read about. It's called Exalt Now. I'm sure there's others, but all of those are programs that are designed to take data in manually from somebody who designs the presentation or the lyric flow for the service, and it's often not the worship leader who does that. This is something that has to be coordinated with office staff or with whoever prepares the presentation. But I've looked at this, and come to the conclusion that this is really not necessary. This is a step that is an unnecessary waste of time and energy. There's no reason why, once the worship leader decides what sequence of lyrics they want to use, there's no reason why after that decision somebody would have to manually re-enter that into a different system. So that is where this system that you'll see in a moment is very different. There's two ways in which it is different. One is the technical setup, and the other one is just the way of operating it. So let's talk about the technical setup for a moment. First, I need to mention in that regard, there is no need for any third-party software at all. It all works right in your browser. And you also don't need necessarily a video card with multiple outputs and so on, because each display can be driven by a web browser, by browser window. So what I'll do behind me right now is I switch to this view where I have two projection clients. These are just browsers in full screen mode. Two projection clients of which you can connect any number to the projection server, which is a little software program that runs on your server in the church. That means you can connect your projection screens, you can connect television panels, you can connect personal devices. People could use their cell phones if they maybe if somebody is challenged with their vision, they can use their cell phone or laptop or a tablet or any kind of personal device, anything that has a browser really, to follow along and to hook into the projection stream that broadcasts the lyrics or the projection for the presentation for the service. So that's the technical side of display. For the operational side, that's also different. Again, it works in the browser, and you can operate the presentation from any device that has a browser. It could be the computer that you've always used to operate your PowerPoint, but it could be a tablet somewhere in the audience. It could be your cell phone. It could be on the pulpit maybe. It becomes very flexible. And how it all works, we'll take a look at it right now. All right, I'm logged now into my local development environment here, and this screen you get when you go to worship department, ministries worship department, and click projector feeds. Now, if I click on make the left choice here, display projector feed, then I get right now all it says here is auto mode. There's no actual feed available. There would be if somebody was operating a feed, but there isn't. So if I click on auto mode, I get this beautiful clock that you see behind me too, which is really just a filler, which is displayed until an actual feed occurs. And to do that, to actually produce a feed, you click on operate a projector feed, and it lists the services that are coming up. In this case, we just have this service we created earlier. So we go in there, and immediately it will load the presentation interface. The operator interface follows what's called a preview program kind of layout. You see the preview monitor here and the program monitor over here. And this is very much what you would see on a professional video switcher. And the idea of preview program is that whatever is shown on the preview monitor is the content that will go live when you make the next transition. So that's the monitors up here. Then you have the service order down here, which is actually live. We'll talk more about that in a bit. You have to the right here, this area will hold lyrics fragments or different the individual slides, which you'll see in a sec when we go through the service. And the top right here has some quick access buttons or hotkeys, shortcuts, or however you want to call them. The simplest way to use this interface is to use it the exact same way you would use a PowerPoint presentation. To advance in a linear fashion through the presentation, all you do is hit space, or arrow down. So next slide, next slide, next slide, next slide. And we do that right now. The presentation has started, the blank slide is live. If we hit space here, then the preview switches to program. If we keep going, then the next element is the welcome, which has no slides. Next element is a song, and now you see on the right how the actual lyrics are being previewed there too. The red indicates program, and the green indicates preview. So whatever is green shaded will be in the preview monitor. Whatever is red shaded will be live. So we go through this. Then after that, automatically you see on the left here, the indicator switches to the next song that we are on right now. Scripture reading is not associated with any slides right now. The next song we see has a background picture. Now that's one of the features of the system, is that it allows to associate background pictures to songs, to arrangements, to entire services. It's very flexible in that, and motion backgrounds, support for motion backgrounds actually is in the works as well. But that's for another day. You see a different picture on this one. And by the way, the way this renders is that you have stroke text. So no matter what color your background is, the text will be legible. Okay, so this is the linear fashion you would normally follow through, that you would, the same way you would do a PowerPoint presentation, follow through in a linear way. Now I want to take you through the service again, or at least through parts of it, and demonstrate to you how it can be used how it can be done in a non-linear fashion, and how some extra features can be employed, and most importantly, how the live updates work. One situation we have encountered again and again at our church is that something in the service goes way over time, and we need to cut a song or just cut a verse maybe, or there might be the occasional case where we shift things around. And if that happens, usually it's very hard to communicate that to the projector operator. Whereas now with this system, what I can do is I can, in the front view or wherever I'm sitting, I can log into the service plan, and I can make a change, and it will be reflected immediately in the running presentation. So I'm going to demonstrate. Actually, I'm going to demonstrate that right now. So just for example, you see here that the first song is All Creatures. The second song is Not Be Shaken. Now we jump to All Creatures. Now we just click it. We can bring anything to preview and to live if we hit space. And suppose we are writing the song here right now, and I'll just freeze that now to show you how to do the live update. Bear with me here. So I have the service plan, the service plan interface pulled up here. And I'm just going to switch now. I'm going to take our creatures no, I'm going to take not be shaken, and I'm going to take it out. All right, I'm going to take out not be shaken, and you'll see here on the projector interface that it'll update immediately. So let's take out not be shaken. I've taken it out, and you see immediately it uploads, it updates the running presentation, and it's taken out. So now if we keep going through here, again in linear fashion, then you'll see after the end of this song, it'll go right to the scripture reading, and after that to Reign in Us. So we have taken out a song in real time. Of course, it works the same way if you want to move a song. So right now we have Reign in Us, we're on Reign in Us. The next one will be Let All Things Now Living. Now I'm going to pull up God Most High from below. I'm going to pull that one up into between those two here. And again, you'll see how that'll happen up in the interface, projector operators interface, or while I do it from a different machine. Drop, and you'll see what happened here just momentarily. It'll update the live presentation. And again, once we go through, the next one now is God Most High. So that's how you can make live changes in a running service to a running presentation seamlessly. One last thing, just for now, because this has taken longer than I thought it would. I'm just going to show you the little instant message feature I have at top there. You see the right hotkey here. Sometimes we have people leaving their lights on in their cars and stuff, and or some other announcement should be made, but it may not be necessary to spend actual service time on that. So if let's assume somebody left their lights on, then we could type the license plate here and a little note, and it'll go to preview. And if you hit space, of course, then it'll go live. And you can go back to the presentation just with another hit of the space bar. And of course, you have seen how you can jump around here and proceed in non-linear fashion as well. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I would love to hear from you. You see my email address down below here, and if you want to contact me, I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much.